Okay, we've been talking about the race strategy for days and days. And this is one of the questions that we've already talked about, but I want to go over it again so you have this as a reference. Remember, the R in race stands for restate. So the first thing we have to do is read the prompt and figure out what the question is. Sometimes there'll be a question mark to help us out. Sometimes there won't be. So when I look at this prompt, it says, in Earth, identify the main idea and two key details on page 242. Support your answer with clear text evidence. There's no question mark, so I can't use that as a clue. I have to figure out what they're asking me to do. And when I look at this, they're asking me to identify the main idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my magic words, I will, and now let me go up and steal the words that they give me. I will identify the main idea and key details. Okay, so I will identify the main idea and two key details on page 242. I didn't put that part in my answer, but that's how I restate. I use as many of the words as possible from the prompt. I say I will because they're asking me to do something. So I'm answering. I will say, I will do that. That's my restating. You guys are doing pretty well with that. Now we have to answer it. What they're asking me to find is the main idea and two details. So when I open up my book to page 242 and I look at that, I see it has a heading, Our Home Planet. And when I read through that, there are a whole bunch of references to Earth, planet, and home. So I know that headings often point me in the direction of the main idea, and I see the word Earth or planet or home over and over and over again, then I know the main idea of that is that Earth is a good home, or it's a special home. I also need to find two key details. So as I read through that, I'm like, oh, we've got water that we need to live, and we also have air that we need. So my actual answer to this question is the main idea is Earth is a special home, and two key details are it has water and air that help people live. So there we have it. I've restated the question and I've answered it. Now I have to do the important stuff, cite evidence. What in the book, right there in the passage, what quote could I steal that proves the main idea and key details? Well, the main idea I got from the heading. So on page 242, the heading states Our Home Planet, and Earth is on the page 6 times. Another thing that I have to do is show two key details. And I said about air and water. So when I look at that, I found the sentence. It also says, Earth's water and air make it an ideal place for living things. All I'm trying to do are find the exact words from the passage that then support what I answered. I've got a heading and I've got a quote about air and water. And I found it from the passage. So I started this with a reference of on page 242, and I used quotation marks for the words that I took directly from the book. Now I've got to pretend that the person reading this does not understand very much, so I need to explain how that quote supports my answer. The heading shows me that Earth is a special home, and water and air are two key details that make it special. It almost sounds like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, but I'm just trying to connect this quote back to my answer. And then lastly, you guys do a really good job with the summary. That is how, and then we go back and we steal their words again. I identified the main idea and two key details on page 242. I'm just making a summary statement of what I've told them. This seems like a really long thing, but really when you look at it, it is a 5-sentence paragraph. I restate, I answer, I cite evidence, I explain how my evidence supports my answer, and then I use their words to summarize what's happening. We're going to keep practicing this over and over and over again, and you're going to get better and better each time.